Hi guys. Hey,
Hello.
my mic is working.
Holy
Haha.
shit.
I see the little meter going. Uh, that's the exact sound it's making. It's wonderful. So anyway, hi guys. Welcome to episode 12 of the AuraCast. As always, I am DragonBeaz, joined by my amazing, oh it hurts, co-host,
Thanks.
CinderShots. How are we,
Hi.
Cinder?
I'm good. We've just listened before starting at dogs screaming, so it's a good start.
Yeah, Riley's got a very strange interest in things. Let's just say that. Riley is an interesting creature.
Oh.
Anyway,
Anyway, the
s-
Game Awards happened.
so l- what we're gonna do, we're gonna just go straight for the intro and get stuck into this. There is a
Yeah.
lot to cover, especially announcements wise. But yes, it is going to be Game Awards, the aftermath, if you want to call it that.
Uh-huh.
But let's play the intro, and we'll be back in uno momentos. So, what game awards we had?
Yeah. Well, the aftermath. Well, we'll talk about that later. But it's just, it was. Tell you what. Okay, credit to Jeff Keighley, I think his name is.
Yep.
He and the whole team behind the Game Awards made it the best they could in the current times and
Oh,
the way the
absolutely.
world is. And it was in that kind of like mindset. It was such a good show.
It
It
was
was genuinely
being
such a good watch.
it was being broadcast or like yeah, broadcast from three different locations. It was being broadcast from the US, the UK, and
And Japan.
Japan. Yeah. Which I didn't know they were actually doing, which is really, really cool. The logistics behind that must have been an absolute freaking
Oh my
nightmare.
god, yeah. I remember Jeff tweeting that like 2 hours before they started, he'd only just finished the last round of rehearsals.
Yeah, yeah, they were
Which
very much. Yeah, it was an interesting. Yeah, it would have taken a lot of coordination. Let's just say
yeah,
that.
shout out to the team. It was such a good show. They've done it
Um,
really well.
Lots of special guests, which was really cool.
Shout out to Swedish Chef.
I mean,
Oh man.
star of the show. So yeah, the other thing is, let me know what you guys think of the audio and video quality. We have
Yes.
swapped from Zoom to Discord for a number of reasons. So hopefully everything is running quite smoothly. From my end, it looks no different, to be quite honest. But
For my end, it doesn't look different either. But if
so
anything does seem different, especially in audio stuff, let us know and we'll fiddle with things.
we'll have a bit of a play around with the
Yeah.
settings and stuff. So let's just get stuck into it. The list I've got in front of me of the winners, I think, actually matches up with the last list we used last week. So hopefully, it'll make it a bit easier to get through it all. Most of it. Really, what I want to do is, if we get to a category where either we were wrong or there's
Most of
some,
them for me.
yeah, there was some, yeah. Um,
We'll talk
uh,
about that.
and any controversy. We're not going to spend much time on like all of them because we did a lot of talking about this last week. It's just
My
if there
god, yeah,
was,
that episode was so long.
oh my god, that podcast went forever. It was good, but holy crap, editing
I'm
that
gonna try and
afterwards
get
and
back
looking
to
at it.
normal duration of AuraCast because my lord, it was a great way to come back.
Oh,
But God,
absolutely. But
jeez.
oh my god, it was a long one. All right, so we'll just quickly zip through the esports stuff because it doesn't really resonate with either of us for the most part. We had esports team G2 Sports won. Neither of us guessed that, I don't think.
I'm
It,
trying to find it my end. Who won?
Esports team.
Oh, I got that right because G2 win, didn't they?
Oh, G2, yes. Oh, yeah, so you did. That's one to Cinder for anyone who's keeping
Ah,
count. Esports host was Ziox.
I got that wrong.
We both got that wrong. Esports game was League of Legends.
I got that right.
So that's two. What else we got here? Esports event was League of Legends World Championship. We both got that right.
Yep.
Esports coach was Zonic. We both got that wrong.
Mhm.
Esports athlete was showmaker. We both got that wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all the esports out of the way. So that's 2 to Cinder, 1 to me.
Just before we carry on, just
No,
like
3 to Cinder and 1 to me.
shout out to all the winners of awards and all the nominees in the first place, because to get to that point, astounding. So yeah, I'm gonna have certain comments about certain awards, but even still, regardless of what I say, shout out to those that won because they obviously deserved it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Let me just preface anything that we say. This is our personal opinions. It doesn't reflect upon Aura Guardians. It doesn't reflect
yes,
upon anybody else. I am a great believer in everyone is entitled to their own opinions with this stuff. It doesn't make you any less of more of a person. It's just what your opinion is at the end of the day. What I want to point out before I go any further that people still, I don't think, are quite understanding with how the Game Awards work and how they were awarded. Everyone's saying, oh, it's a popularity contest. Only 10% was actually votes from the
yes,
public. The rest was actually decided by a panel of industry people, game developers and content creators and just media people and everything. So it's not like it was like a popularity contest
yeah.
at the end of the day.
Feel free to have your own opinions and comments about that. I know I do, but like at the end of the day, that is how it works. We can't change that.
It's
So
like the Oscars. There's no voting at the Oscars, so
yeah,
you know. So yeah, okay. So the first thing, which I have to say is a bit of a shock to me, is content creator of the year.
yeah.
Um, Neither Alana Pierce or Tim the Tatman got it. It was won by Valkyrie.
Which yeah, I mean, fair play. She deserves it, I'm sure. Like she has done a lot, and it's a very well known name. I'm just surprised neither of them won.
Yeah, I was a bit shocked. Yeah, that threw me off a bit, but that all right.
There was a bit by Alana Pierce in the Game Awards, like a little show thing, which was quite entertaining. So quite nice to see. So yeah,
um, Next up we had multiplayer game on the list. I am not happy.
who won again?
So Among Us won.
That was my vote. So I got that right.
Um, uh, so my biggest gripe with Among Us, and I've heard this from lots of people, but it's such a 50-50 split with how people feel about this, is that Among Us came out in 2018, and this just annoys me that this game is getting awards 2 years later. I know it's in its surge of popularity at the moment, but that's like saying, oh, Minecraft had a resurgence, so let's put that back in, or games that continue to be played like, okay, Destiny 2. Destiny 2's not in any other category except best ongoing game.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a bit of a slap in the face to some other games, but all
Well,
right.
here's the thing. There was a post I saw on Twitter. I think it was something directly from the Game Awards website. 'Cause it's in the FAQs somewhere, I think, about if games limited to 2020 releases were eligible if it was more games. And they said something about how all games are eligible because it all comes down to if the game has made an impact in some capacity in that year relevant to its category.
Yeah,
So
but
even though Yes Among Us came out in 2017, 2018,
2018.
it has made an impact this year, so I can also understand it being there.
It's a weird precedent to set for an awards show, though. Like, given
Mm,
that there's not many award shows that would set that. That's like saying, all right, if they did a 30th anniversary viewing of a movie and it did exceptionally well that year, that it can then get another Oscar. It's just not. It's
it
not
is
a.
weird.
It's not a good, from my perspective. It's not a good precedent to set. But if that's what the guidelines say or the frequently asked questions say on the Game
Yeah,
Awards, well, then who am I to complain? It's there. But
yeah,
from my opinion, it's a weird move. It kind of, it's a bit
yeah.
weird. So yeah, I got that wrong. Cinder got that right. I'm guessing Danny's counting, obviously, because he's putting numbers in the chat.
Here's over.
um, no worries, Alex. Thank you for the lurk. We appreciate that.
Hey,
Sports games. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 got it.
I'm so happy they did. For a second, I was fearing that FIFA would get it. And again, not saying it wouldn't deserve it if it did, because FIFA's still popular now. But I'm so happy to know Huddersfield got it. That's all I'll say. Because
It's 5-2 now, Danny, because we both got Tony Hawk.
I know, but that was before he said Tony Hawk's.
Yeah, 4-1. So it's 5-2 now.
yeah,
I'll be Scribe again.
What's that?
I'll be Scribe again.
Okay. So then next is sim strategy game, Microsoft Flight Simulator got it. So that's another one to me and Cinder. That was a really obvious one, I think. I think that one, it's just had far too much of an impact and been an impressive showing.
Side note, if my camera just died for a second, I think internet might have just had an issue, but I'm fine now, so it's all good.
I didn't see anything, but that's okay.
But yeah, for anyone watching this post haste, wrong word, but
it was me just making your camera disappear.
Yeah, just destroying the internet.
Exactly.
But yeah, Microsoft Flight Sim, another point for both of us.
Family game. I'm so happy to see that Animal Crossing actually got an award. It's a category that they absolutely should have got. Cinder and I were on the same page there. So, that brilliant. I'm really happy about that. Very well deserved, and it fits that category perfectly. So it made sense. It had some stiff competition though in that category. It was dealing with Fall Guys, it was dealing with Minecraft Dungeons, Paper Mario, the Mario Kart Live thing.
Honestly, I reckon Minecraft Dungeons would have been the closest.
Yeah, I mean, Fall Guys maybe just because of the popularity factor again, but I think Animal Crossing probably had a bit of an edge on that.
It deserved it.
Then we've got fighting games, which is Mortal Kombat 11. Both Cinder and I guessed that correctly.
Shout out to NetherRealm Studios. They've made such a good game there. My God.
RPG, I have many gripes with.
This is where we go downhill, isn't it?
From here, it gets ugly. So RPG was won by Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Which, again, I'm going to preface this. Again, we've mentioned it earlier. I'll say it again. These are our opinions. That's the last time I'm going to say this before anyone shouts in comments or stream chat or anything. This is our opinion. That being said, well, we'll see later on, but Final Fantasy, I can understand why it won. I really can, because Final Fantasy is such an iconic RPG series.
And 7 is one of the highest regarded ones too.
But what were the other games in it?
Well, here's my issue with this whole category is that there's 2 games in there. As much as Final Fantasy VII Remake and Persona Royale, FO5 Royale are controversial for a number of reasons. Both are either remakes or expansions on a previous title or however you want to put it. Genshin was also on the list. Wasteland 3 and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
I'm genuinely okay. Thinking about it now, I was a little bit. Well, I say annoyed. Annoyed's the wrong word. I was shocked to see Final Fantasy win at the time. Thinking about it now, I can understand why it beat Genshin. Because it's such a more well-known game series and had more of an impact, I guess, once it came out. That's not to say that Genshin wouldn't have deserved it, though, in my opinion.
I think there's a bit of a fine line there as to the eligibility thing again. I think that remakes don't fit that category sometimes. I think that they shouldn't be included to this degree, but someone's like, oh, they changed the story a bit and they've built it from the ground up, and it's like, but you can do that with any game, and it's still, at the end of the day, the base game is based on a previous edition of it. But
then that begs the question of what warrants a remake being its own game or not.
And I guess
there's always so much you can work with if it's a remake.
Exactly, so that's not to just discredit the work that was put into this, into the games and that, but it's more so what is the line that the Game Awards is going to draw, and controversy creates news, and news is good coverage in any aspect. So I guess it's So that was the RPG category. Action Adventure was won by Last of Us Part 2. There's been a lot of complaints about that, and
More of we'll see later on.
It's the argument of there's not that much action adventure in this game, and I don't understand what you mean by that.
Because in all fairness, there is.
Because someone's like, oh, there's 3 hours. 3 hours of
I thought that as well.
Content or whatever, and I'm like, how much have you played of it? Because there's way more than 3 hours. You can't have played the whole game in 3 hours, or if you have, I would like to know how, because there's really no way to speedrun that game in 3 hours.
I don't understand, man.
So it's to me it's fine. I don't have a problem with it, but there is a bit of controversy behind that.
Wasn't my vote, but you know.
If you take all the fighting parts out, there's only 3 hours. Oh, that's garbage. There's so much garbage about that
But
game.
fighting parts, that's the action part of the game. Like,
Yeah, but the adventure part is the story, so action adventure. Like, what more do
that
you want?
that's why I think it's perfectly fine winning that award. It's not my vote, but it won it.
Action game was won by Hades.
Which, fair play. My vote was Doom Eternal, but hey ho. Hades, everyone loves it. Like, you can't argue with that.
We're really not doing so good here.
It was going well for me, and then it just cut off.
Innovation in accessibility was Last of Us 2.
Now, I'm gonna kick up a fuss about this one. In the Game Awards show, it showed off, like with this award and with a few different awards, it showed off a clip of the game relevant to the award. And in accessibility, it showed what the game did to make the game accessible. Last of Us 2 was basically just color correction, like different color schemes.
Oh, for people with color blindness,
Yeah,
yeah.
but other games in that list also were shown that. Grounded had something completely different, and I'm really surprised and a little bit sad that Grounded didn't win.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't know why it won this category. As good as the game is, it didn't, to me, scream innovation and accessibility.
That's what the category was. It wasn't a category of how good the game was. It was a category of
Yeah.
how accessible was the game to people that otherwise might not be able to play the game. And yes, like color blindness is a thing that a lot of people have in some capacity.
But a lot of
lot-
games are doing that, so it's not
Yeah,
really, it's not
it's not a new
innovation.
thing.
It's
And
not,
that's not to
yeah.
say that it's not a good thing that Last of Us put it in, because it is. And it's something that games should put in anyway. But it's not innovative.
No.
That's why I think Grounded should have won. But
Yeah,
hey,
it's look, it's bizarre, but I guess, yeah. VR AR games, Half-Life Alex won.
did I win that? I'm pretty sure I got that right.
Yeah, you picked Half-Life Alex. I picked Dreams. Community support was Fall Guys. You got that.
Okay. I think,
Yeah, you picked that.
yeah, I'm getting confused with a different award, but yeah.
You did pick that. I'm disappointed a little bit. 'Cause
I'm not. And
I,
I can.
but I just don't. I don't get. There's a difference, but okay. To me, there's a difference, a fundamental difference between a game getting support from its developers to support what the community want, and versus a company going out of its way to actually actively interact with their community. And I don't see what Fall Guys does in that category. Sure, it listens to its fans and it might come up with some ideas and stuff like that, but any company should be able to do that.
Yeah.
My gripe is that with Destiny, for example, and this is probably the only time you ever hear me favor Destiny so heavily like this, is that they do so much outside of just bringing the content that people want. You know, they're supporting creators on so many different levels. They're, you know, whether it's artists or whether it's people creating videos or audio or anything, you know, like that. They do so much charity work. They do all of these things like that are so community based. I was a bit, I don't understand the Fall Guys one for this one particularly.
Yeah.
I quite, you know, there's a difference between listening to your fan base and doing stuff for them and actually branching out and doing stuff that is above and beyond what most people would do for their games.
Yeah. I mean, there's no denying that Fall Guys gets involved with its community, its player base, everything like that. What I think you bring up a very good point. I think the category is probably very weird in the sense of while Bungie and the people behind Destiny do so much to give back as such, I think judging panels especially probably looked at that category thinking, does it just listen to their community?
Yeah.
And while Bungie definitely does, I think they're just going to look at how much Fall Guys and the team behind it interacts back directly with their player base, and then judge it on that, which is also a fair point. But I can also see the point you're making as well. I'm not sad with the fact that Fall Guys won that one, but I can see the argument between that and Destiny, for example.
Yeah. Mobile game was Among Us.
I got that right.
Did I? I picked Genshin. Um,
Not really much to say there.
no, not really. I
Both of the
mean,
games play on mobile. It plays well.
mm,
Simple as that, really.
this next category makes me so freaking happy. Best
Oh, I think
debut indie game was
yes.
won by Phasmophobia.
Shout out to the people behind Phasmophobia, man. They got so happy and excited on social media when that happened.
Phasmophobia is more and more becoming a part of my weekly routine. Yeah, we both got Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia, I played 5 hours of it today.
And you tweeted about it today.
Because I'm mad. But
my thought when I saw your tweet was, wow, he's only just realised he has an addiction.
Yeah. I don't do horror, but there's something about that game. I still look. I the number of times I freaked out today, but still enjoyed every moment of the game is phenomenal. And I hope that this game continues to be developed, which obviously it is. But like I want it to expand. I want it to
just because
continue,
of how immersive the game is.
and
So
it's innovative. It's
Yeah.
not, but I've not seen a game like this. I've not seen a game of this level of, and this is in a beta format. Like it's
Yeah.
not even its final game. So this is
And
an incredible showing from a game that came out in August, I think it was. It wasn't
Yeah.
that long ago. It's only been out a few months, and the impact. I was looking at some stats about Phasmophobia, right? And when it came out in October. No, it was ready for tonight. It was ready for tonight's podcast.
Right.
When it came out in October, sorry, when it had its big showing in October because of Halloween month is when it had its most exposure. It
Yeah.
was the most purchased game on Steam at one stage, and it was
Okay.
number 6 overall on Twitch.
Holy shit.
Now you put that into perspective when it's going up against games like Pokemon and Fortnite and Apex and Fall Guys and Among Us and all these games that have been like just dominating the numbers on there. And
Destiny, in fairness.
yeah, Destiny's been heavily, and League of Legends and anything or all of those. Yeah, it was number 6. Like
Shout
that
out
is
to
just
the developers and team
and
behind Phasmophobia, man.
the thing people got to remember with Phasmophobia is it's an indie studio.
Yes.
It's not a big
For
studio.
an indie studio to go up and up against AAA titles like that.
So
Jesus.
congratulations to them. They deserved it.
Yeah, it warrants the talent and passion, if anything, behind the game.
Indie game was won by Hades.
Well deserved, I reckon.
And that had stiff competition because it was up against Fall Guys.
I'm genuinely surprised Fall Guys didn't win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're looking at a game overall, Hades is more in depth than Fall Guys, if that makes sense.
I forgot what my vote was in this category.
In this category, indie game, we both picked Fall Guys.
Oh, okay, so we're both wrong.
Best ongoing game. I am so proud of this. This makes me happy, almost as happy as I did with Phasmo.
I'm happy to be wrong.
I went against my favoritism here and went for what I thought should win it absolutely.
And it did.
No Man's Sky got best ongoing game, and they deserve it.
But I'm very happy No Man's Sky won. It's just the fact, like you said last week, if you haven't watched last week's podcast, go watch it. YouTube, listening platforms, wherever. But we mentioned, even though we mentioned it last week, the fact that they've come back from such, to put it simply and bluntly, such a shit start.
They went from a shit game, and there's no. They even themselves admitted they stuffed it up big time.
There's no point in like.
There's no point in sugarcoating what they did. It was a dead game.
Dead and awful.
It was the week of launch. It was more people checking it out to see how bad it was.
It was one of the lowest rated games on Steam, I'm sure.
It was horrifically received, and understandably, because it was literally there was nothing there for the most part.
Yeah, hardly anything can come back from that, but No Man's Sky did, and
it
respect
did.
to No Man's Sky.
To a game that is actually, if it had launched as its current state back then, could have been a Game of the Year contender, and that's no exaggeration because the amount of content in that game now is insane.
There's always something to do in that game.
So very excited for them, very happy for them.
I'm very happy for the loss in that.
Games for Impact was won by Tell Me Why. I don't know anything about any of those games
Right.
except for Spiritfarer, so we both got that wrong. Performance, I'm happy.
Yes, I got the wrong character for Last of Us.
Oh, did you?
Because I voted for Ellie.
Yeah.
But again, like you can see how happy she was. What's her name again? Laura something.
Laura Bailey. Now, here's my issue with this, right? I love Laura Bailey, and she's well deserved, right? I picked Laura Bailey as well, and Ashley Johnson, sorry, as well. I would have liked seeing Ashley get it simply because Laura Bailey has had so many awards, and Ashley deserved what she did for Ellie, but Abby was a compelling character, so we knew that it was going to be down to those two. There was not really anyone who was going to be able to contend with that because those two did such powerful performances in Last of Us 2.
I hope both of those women are proud of what they've done because they've done such a good thing for their game. And, like, yeah, Laura deserved it, I'm sure.
Audio design?
This is where I start getting mad.
Audio design was won by Last of Us Part 2. Cinder picked Doom, I picked Last of Us.
Yeah, so you win that one, didn't you?
Yeah. I think once again, Last of Us 2 had incredible audio design.
I think it was robbed, but hey.
But I mean, for me, I guess it comes down to for what Last of Us 2 is, the audio design is well done, right down to like the noises the creatures make, and it adds to the atmosphere. So but not to discredit anyone else on this list, even something like Resident Evil 3, which was on the list, the music in those games or the audio in those games have always been good as well. So, there's no one on this list that wasn't good.
I mean, Last of Us got it for good reason, I'm sure. I genuinely did think, even though only 10% of it was player votes, I think Doom would have been a good running for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Last of Us won. Can't argue with that.
Salty as fuck for the next two, I am. I can't put it any other way. Score and music was won by Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, I'm mad about that one.
I'm salty for the biggest reason being the music from a few of these on here is incredible. You picked Doom Eternal for obvious reasons. I picked Ori and the Will of the Wisps because the music in that is just
those games have such good music and scores.
It's such beautiful music. And it's a shame. I would have liked to have seen Ori get the nod here.
One thing I will say, Square Enix has always been good with music in their games.
Yeah. And I've seen a few people point out that like this is the first year in a while that Square Enix has actually gotten some fairly significant nominations.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's disappointing for me, but
yeah,
it's fine.
I would have liked to see Doom Eternal get an award, but yeah.
Art direction was won by Ghost of Tsushima,
which I'm happy about.
Which is fine. The music in that is really the art in that is really incredible. It's probably one of the highlights. You actually voted for. We both voted for Ori.
Yes.
It is incredibly a good looking game. The art style was beautiful in that. Once again, I still think Ori is a unique and beautiful piece of art direction. But unfortunately, it just didn't get a vote in that.
But that's not to say that Ghost of Tsushima didn't deserve it, because
no, I can understand why Ghost of Tsushima got it because it is a gorgeous game. It is very, very, very. It's probably the biggest highlight for me about the look is the look of that game. It's very pretty.
And actually, a point that Danny just put in chat, like the music in Final Fantasy is good. Like again, Square Enix. I don't think there's ever been, to my knowledge, I haven't played many Square Enix games, but the music has always been one of those where I'm like, I hear it and I think this works.
Yeah.
But I also think that about Doom Eternal, and yeah. Anyway, that's my comment.
Narrative. Last of Us Part 2, and it deserves it. We both picked that.
Yeah.
It was as much as people gripe about it, and that's the thing I see on social media. is if you've got an opinion, and this is my thoughts on opinions, right? If you've got an opinion, you can't just back it up with the story is shit. Why is the story shit? And the majority of what I've seen from people with why the story is shit is that they don't like the fact that they pushed Ellie into that relationship. And it's like, well, you obviously don't know the backstory behind Ellie as a character based on how The Last of Us 1 ended and how the like expansion separate story thing went with Left Behind.
Yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately, there's also been a lot of obviously anti-LGBT stuff with that as well, which is really sad. It got review bombed heavily when it first came out. And
Which
people
I
were like,
don't
well,
understand why. Review bombing's stupid.
well, it was just stupid as well because like people like now they're using that as an argument. They're like, oh yeah, but the viewers and the gamers have voted it down. It's like, yeah, but it was review bombed. So the actual average on Metacritic or whatever or game whatever is like not accurate because it was review bombed.
It's much lower than it should be.
It's way lower than it should be. You know, so yeah.
Narratives and Left of Us Part 2, well deserved.
The next one surprises me a little because neither of us know what the hell this game is, but apparently it's the most anticipated, so I don't know. Elden Ring.
Yeah, okay. I have heard of this game. The only thing I know about this game is just by a company called From Software, the people behind Dark Souls, Bloodborne, that kind of thing. And I've heard it's a very similar kind of game. And I have seen there's a couple of people I follow on Twitter that are very excited about this game.
Yeah.
And we're not sure about the game. In all fairness, that's fine. From what I've heard, it sounds good, but again, I know next to nothing.
I knew nothing about it, and then like looking at the other things on the list, I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be out, but apparently it's the most anticipated game.
I love that Jeff was just like, oh yeah, shout out Elden Ring anyway, because everyone was hoping we'd see Elden Ring gameplay or at least anything in the Game Awards, and we just didn't.
It was so bizarre, like yeah. So that's fine, and then. Of course, we've got game direction, which was won by Last of Us Part 2.
Shocker.
And these two kind of go hand in hand. So, you know, let's be honest here. It's not unheard of, but it would be really weird if the game direction didn't get Game of the Year.
Yeah,
it does happen. It does occasionally happen in various different forms of media where the director gets an award and the movie or game doesn't, or vice versa, and you're like, well, wait, hang on. So the movie is fantastic, but the director is shit. You know, like it's like it's a little weird. But Game of the Year, which is bittersweet. I'm not surprised. Last of Us 2 won.
I personally think Animal Crossing still should have got it for its impact on the year.
Yeah.
But seeing The Last of Us get it is not a surprise. Ignore, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, ignore what people's opinions are on Naughty Dog and how they got the game achieved in time in the first place. The game itself, the product, is good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people also think the same way. So, yeah, not surprising.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I said last week, I wouldn't be shocked and I wouldn't be disappointed if Final Fantasy, I got that on the brain. That's still it. That game, yeah. Last of Us 2 got it. That wouldn't bother me in the slightest.
Yeah.
It's just bittersweet because I just think the impact level of Animal Crossing was much more. And that's also a very divisive thing with a few people. Even within my friend groups, I have had some interesting conversations this last week with people who were like, there's nothing in Animal Crossing, it's a shallow game. And I'm like,
it's not.
You haven't played it, and if you don't like it, I understand that, but it's not shallow.
Yeah, Animal Crossing isn't a game you can play for 2 days and think there's nothing in the game.
Yeah.
Because you don't get anything out 2 days.
It's designed on longevity and slow gameplay, if that makes sense.
I mean, there's something different to do throughout the months for an entire year. Like, that's how Animal Crossing's always worked.
Even value for money wise, you know, we've not had to pay an absolute cent since we bought the game itself to be able to do anything in the game.
Every update. I mean, technically to get certain things you have to have online, but as a game, once you've bought it, you don't have to pay anything else. It's
No.
not a DLC game.
No. Unless you're a time traveling. Yes, well, we don't go into time traveling. You know my feelings on time traveling in Animal Crossing. So that's the awards side of things.
Shout out to the nominees. They're there for a reason. And
Yeah.
congratulations to Last of Us for getting Game of the Year. But yeah, I'm sure we can talk about people's opinions.
So Cinder got more guesses than me, so Cinder won. So his prize for winning is he gets to stay on the team for now.
Hey, another day.
another 24 hours. So let's go to the list of announcements. Now, this is in no particular order. It's just a huge list I've got here. Some things we'll obviously talk more about than others. But at the top of this list is the announcement of the next Smash Bros. Character. This was a little bit left field for a few
It was
people.
a surprise.
You know, there was speculation about who it was going to be, and I don't think many people had Sephiroth on their list.
No, a lot of people were saying Sora and Crash. To see Sephiroth come out of nowhere is... I'm not sad.
No, I mean, it's an interesting addition. It's nice to have a villain character come in as opposed to a hero.
The trailer was so good, and then everyone's memes of Mario's dead, Mario's just dead, and yeah, it was great.
A few people complaining, another sword guy, blah blah blah, which I was expecting.
But every sword character in Smash is different. Like,
I mean, let's look at it this way. At least it wasn't some Fire Emblem. You know, we've got 50 billion Fire Emblem characters, so that's fine.
Let's make it 50 billion and one.
Exactly. So that's fine. He looks good. I'll be interested to see how he plays. So that came out of left field though. A very different character. I didn't expect that.
We find out more about him on the 17th of December, so I'm sure I'm going to be talking about it next week on AuraCast.
Yep.
But he looks really good from what we've seen. He can cut a stage in half. What?
Cut a stage in half? Yeah. Oh, that was going to say. Sea of Solitude Director's Cut is coming to Nintendo Switch.
I never heard of this game before, but now I want it. It looks really good.
It looks really interesting. I probably will want to check that out.
It's on my watch list for sure.
Devolver Digital announced a retro game called Loop Hero.
That looks to be the type of game I'd enjoy. It looks quite good. I don't think it's going to be the first game I pick up, but not to say it doesn't look good, because it looks interesting.
It gives off some... I could be wrong in saying this. It gives off a bit of like Rogue Legacy style of game, kind of.
Kind of, but it takes away a lot more of the pixels, pretty much.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, but it's that kind of mindset. Like
Rogue Legacy is one of my favourite games on my Steam library to date. It's such a good game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
To see a game like this that's a lot more old school looking, I guess the best way to put it.
Yeah.
It looks really interesting.
The pixelated I'm going to say this and I've said this lots of times, not just on AuraCast but in general, graphics doesn't make a game.
For sure,
if that makes sense. I don't mean everything doesn't have to look realistic to be enjoyable. And it drives me nuts when everyone's it's like everyone drives me nuts when people go, oh, but it doesn't look real, or it looks so retro looking. It's like that's what they're going for. That's the aesthetic they're going for.
Realistic graphics in games just gets boring when it's overdone. I don't know, like that's why Shovel Knight was so good. That's why Rogue Legacy was so good. That's why there's another one in my head and I've completely Hero Siege. If anyone's ever played that, such a good game. And they're all like low poly pixelated kind of games, and they're still really good. It's about the gameplay. It's not how it looks, in my opinion.
Tchia was revealed, a tropical exploration game.
Yeah, I was explaining to Riley when I saw it. It looked like a mix of Moana and Breath of the Wild.
Moana.
But it looks really fun. It looks like a game that you play, and then you play it for what feels like 30 minutes and 5 hours have passed.
Yeah.
It looks quite calming, with a very interesting looking story as well.
Yeah, which is cool. I like that. Yeah, I like the look of it. The puzzle adventure Shady Part of Me is now available. They just dropped it right there and then.
I don't remember much of that, which is probably a
Um,
comment on what I think of it, but
it's yes, it's that sort of black and white, sort of artsy style. Kind of gives you Bendy and the Ink Machine vibes. It's got that kind of look to it.
oh yeah, that
Um,
looks alright,
yeah, so that
but
just
I can't
kind
remember
of
too much of it, so we'll see.
it's a game, puzzle game starring a little girl and her shadow. The concept is you can swap between the girl and her shadow anytime to solve the challenges. So it's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And that just that's available now. So go and get it.
Yeah. Tell us what it's like.
Square Enix showed off gameplay for Near Replicant.
Okay. It looked very bullet hell, and I think that goes in its favour. I
Mm.
don't think it's a game I'm going to rush to play because I've never really played any of them.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested. I was a bit sad because I saw that Square Enix came up, and I was hoping it was something Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy related, and it wasn't. But one thing I will say about this game, again, going back to music, the music in the trailer for the game, it was so good. And it looks good, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play it.
Hood Outlaws and Legends releases May 10th. They've given us a date for that finally after it was showcased earlier in the year.
For the PlayStation 5 showcase, it was shown.
Yeah, so it's coming to PS5, Xbox Series X, S, and PC.
I found out coming to PC, and I got so happy.
So
that was one of the main games I was excited for in the PS5 showcase at the start.
Yeah. It looks good. We couldn't work out what it was. I think was that the game we originally thought was Assassin's Creed or something?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we're like, wait, this is Robin Hood. This is something.
It's been shown in this Game Awards in the reveal, and I was like, oh, this looks familiar. This is the game that was shown in the PlayStation 5 thing, the heist one, and it said heist. I guess I got it nailed.
Yeah.
But it does look really. That's probably going to be one of my favorite games once it comes out. If done well.
Turtle Rock is back in the zombie game with Back for Blood.
Okay, can I nerd out about this for a second?
Yeah.
I loved. It's still one of my favorite games now of all time. I loved Left 4 Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the people working on Back for Blood worked on Left 4 Dead, and it shows.
It's a spirit. They're considering it a spiritual successor to the Left 4 Dead series. Yeah.
I genuinely thought it was a Left 4 Dead game because me and Riley were watching it, and I thought it was. And they showed the cinematic trailer, and then they showed the gameplay trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit! This is a game I'm probably going to, if it's available, whenever, to pre-order.
Well, this is pre-alpha footage, by the way. This is pre-alpha footage.
Just the scene of like the big 20-foot, like you have to try and take down 20-foot tall zombies, and there seem to be special infected, which are very reminiscent of special infected from Left 4 Dead 2, which is why I can understand why it's a spiritual successor. Just that one scene of the 20-foot tall zombie ripping off the gate to the tunnel while you're playing, it gives me the same kind of vibe as when Battlefield 3, way back when it was first introduced, it was like, oh, this system where wild things happen as you're playing and like buildings are collapsing and stuff. I'm seeing this more as a norm in games when it fits well, and Back 4 Blood looks to be the type of game that makes it work really well.
Yeah.
And that's probably the game. That's the only game, minus another one probably, from the Game Awards that I haven't should have about since. It looks so good, and that's a game I'm going to pre-order, no doubt. Can't wait.
The next thing on the list is my chance to nerd out.
Go on.
One of the best games on the Nintendo 64. Perfect Dark.
Yes, I saw that.
Perfect Dark is getting a new game after all this time, and it's being developed by The Initiative. It looks incredible. Perfect Dark was the spiritual successor to GoldenEye 64 on the Nintendo 64.
Followed by Perfect Dark Zero, I think it was.
Yeah, which GameCube, I think it was. Was it Perfect
and then
Dark?
that was also on 360 and PS3, I think.
Yeah, they brought it out on that as well. So,
but it looks really good.
Incredible game.
I've never played the Perfect Dark games, but I will say it looks good.
Very, very good game. So I'm so excited to see how that comes together. Glenn Schofield is making a new horror game called, so this is one of the minds behind Dead Space, the Callisto Project.
It looks interesting. I'm probably going to skip on it. I never liked the Dead Space games. Not to say they're not good games, but it's just, again, not for me. I
Yeah.
don't like how it feels to play.
Yeah.
And if it's very similar, which it looks to be, the trailer was good.
Mm.
It didn't show much, obviously, because it's still in development, but the trailer looked really good. I'm probably going to miss out on it, just by choice. I don't think I'm going to rush to play it. But that's not to say it won't be a good game, because it looks good.
Brand new look at the next Dragon Age game.
Yeah. Again, same
Yeah,
situation.
there was a lot of, and I think that's what came with me was like there was so many games, and I'm sure there's people who are excited, but there were so many things I'm like, this just doesn't resonate with me, and that's because it's just games I don't play.
I am genuinely surprised to see new Dragon Age. I'll be honest. I'll give it that. It does look really good, but
Fulbright is making it so these are people behind Gone Home and Tacoma are making a new game called Open Roads.
this is also the other game I'm excited for. That's the procedural road trip mystery game, isn't it?
Yes.
It looks really interesting, and the art style I'm getting in love with.
So yeah, it's a game centered around a mother and daughter who embark on a road trip of reflection and discovery. So yeah, that sounds like a cool game. I like that kind of game.
I'll probably do it at some point.
Let me see. Just a small thing. You can drive the Cyberpunk 2077 car in Forza Horizon 4.
Forza Horizon 4, I've lost faith in now. Like,
Um,
that's not to say they shouldn't have done this, but Forza Horizon 4 was a game where you could try to Forza cars in the Horizon previous games.
Yeah.
It's a lot more open world and just do your own thing with cars that are realistic. And I started falling out of love with that game when they added the Lego expansion because I didn't get it.
yeah.
I just didn't understand it. I didn't see the point. And now they're doing this. I'm like, nah, I'll pass.
Disco Elysium's console version is coming to PS5, PS4, PC in March with more stuff and other platforms to follow later.
And it's a free upgrade. This is a game I wanted to play for ages, but never got around to. Seeing this and seeing it's a free upgrade, I might pick up Disco Elysium when I go home. Like, it looks so good because it's a game on my watch list for ages.
Yeah.
And it looks to be a really good, very gritty, very interesting detective game.
Yeah.
And it looks so in depth. And to see more stuff getting added to it after all this time, I think it was released, throwing a ballpark figure, 2018, 2019. But
I'm just trying to say, but I don't see the information here.
So it looks so good. I can't wait. And I'm probably going to get that as soon as possible. So, yeah.
It's coming in March 2021.
Oh, the cut.
Yeah, the PS4, PS5, PC is in March. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get the base version of PC, and then when the new upgrade comes out, I'll just upgrade.
Yeah. If you want to play Scavengers, the beta is out available now.
Yeah. Move on. Nobody cares.
Warframe is getting some Unreal Tournament weapons, which is kind of cool.
I nerded out about this. I don't know if I was telling Roddy about this, but he didn't know because he never played it. On the original Xbox, there was an Unreal Tournament game.
Yeah.
Did you ever play it?
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite games on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
It's so over the top. It's like very quakey, very doomy. It's great.
I'm trying to think. There was a weapon in that game. The shrapnel launcher.
Yes.
And then you shoot them. If you hit them just correctly, they just kind of went. Their bodies just went. It's like, all right.
So quake, and it's great.
That was good.
Seeing these weapons in Warframe makes me want to play Warframe again after all these years. Because I used to play it ages ago and just stopped because I just fell out of love with it. But I'm interested.
Crimson Desert was revealed and looks like an ambitious fantasy RPG.
Can you tell the disappointment on my face? Okay, so South Korean MMO RPG, right?
Yeah.
It gives me Black Desert vibes, and what I mean by that is a game that was popular for a little while and then just died off, and it's not as great as people make it out to be. I worry that Crimson Desert's going to be the same. I hope it isn't. I hope to be proven wrong, but it looks to be a game that's going to be popular for just less than a year and it's going to die.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We saw gameplay for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Season 1 content.
Makes me want to play Cold War even more. I know not everyone person here, but I'm not too much of a Call of Duty person, but Cold War I want to get mainly for zombies. But it does look good. It does look very good.
an atmospheric adventure game called Season is coming to PS5.
I want it. That's all I can say. I want it.
Yeah, oh, it's this one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the makers of Darwin Project. The game stars a young woman who leaves a remote village for the first time to explore the world on her bike.
Yes, it looks so good.
The art style's cool. I like that.
And the Darwin Project was a really interesting game.
Yeah, that
so
was
hopefully they kind of put that into Seasons.
This next one shook everyone.
What one?
It's 2 parts to it, right? The first part is that Ark is getting a sequel.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Right.
Right, and then the second part is that it's got Vin Diesel in it.
Throughout the whole trailer, I was like, "That's Vin Diesel. Is that Vin Diesel?" I think it is. And then it said at the end it was. I was like, "Okay, why?"
Okay, firstly, I didn't expect Ark to get a second game because the first game is just still so like full on and whatever. Secondly, wait, what? How does Vin Diesel fit into Ark?
No.
All I'm seeing is like Fast and the Furious.
I hope
in Jurassic Park.
I hope you can play Vin Diesel, get on the dragon, and drift. If you can't, no.
And it is our third part is it is getting an animated series as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
Ark is a great game, but I never expected any of that.
I can never get into Ark. Survival games are weird for me. If it doesn't grip me in the first good few hours, I struggle to get into it.
Yeah.
The Forest, when we played back in the day, was a little bit of an exception to that because that was a bit more interesting in my opinion. I couldn't get to grips with Ark. I'm still going to be watching Ark 2.
Yeah, it's just weird. Yeah. Like I guess there's more popularity. Well, there's always been like Hollywood stars getting involved in game projects and stuff, but like, okay, we've had we had Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk, so now we're getting Vin Diesel in Ark, and is it?
What's her name in Alien Isolation?
Sigourney Weaver.
That's the one.
You know, so like it's not unheard of, but it's like, all right, it's just a weird blend. It's a weird choice. I'm like, Blitzwolf, thank you for the follow. But yeah, it's so bizarre. I just anyway, it's cool. I'm really excited for people who love the Ark series. I think it looked good and that, but it was such a bizarre thing seeing Vin Diesel, and it was literally like looking at him. It's like that's Vin Diesel in like tribal gear.
Yeah. It's so weird.
I couldn't get it. It was just a moment. I've seen so many screenshots and I've gone, all right, we'll just go with that. Okay, I'm good.
But where credit's due, the animated series looks good, and I'm going to watch that when it comes out.
Yeah,
it does look good. It does look fun,
but super bizarre. So yeah, that's that. And then Super Meat Boy Forever is releasing this month.
Cool. More Super Meat Boy. Can't go wrong.
They're good. They're good. They're a great game. They're just
very hard game.
Oh,
but very fun.
Where are we? Fall Guys winter content looked cool, looked cute. Typical Fall Guys stuff.
I'm not gonna play, but
no, I probably won't get back into it. But it was cute. It was typical Fall Guys stuff.
Shout out to Fall Guys for continuing to push out content. Like that's what.
Joseph Fares gave first look at the gameplay for It Takes Two.
Okay, I'm excited for this, and I'll tell you why. Made by the same people that have done A Way Out, and A Way Out was a very gritty 2-person co-op, split screen, interesting experience with an amazing story and amazing characters.
Yeah.
This kind of flips the grittiness on its head, and it's very like colourful and
it's so opposite to what their last game was.
But I'm very interested. And this is going to be a game I'm going to probably end up playing. It looks so fun. Go on.
It's a strange, but I like that because studios getting stuck in a rut of doing the same style of game is it doesn't always work. So this could be a nice, refreshing change to what they did with the last game. So
yeah, I love. We don't see much of it really ever. I love co-op games where you're able to do separate things at the same time, works into one. It's a very weird, specific niche of a game to meet.
Mm-hmm.
But after seeing the trailer for this, I mean, I knew A Way Out was a great game anyway. After seeing the trailer for this next game, I think if there's any company that can pull this off, it's them.
Yeah.
Because they seem to have mastered this idea of split screen, even online co-op,
Yeah.
where both of your actions matter to your end goal.
Hmm.
And you're not just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That's why I loved Army of Two so much, that series. Army of Two: The 40th Day still remains one of my favorite games for that reason. And yeah, I just have a lot of high hopes for this game, and I reckon they'll be met. It just looks so good.
Okay, the next game is called Forged in Shadow Torch, or Fist. It's an upcoming 2D action platformer where players control Rayton, a rabbit warrior outfitted with a weaponized backpack suit, used to kick butt in a diesel punk world.
You said the name, and I was like, "What game is he on about?" And then you
This
explained
is
it.
bizarre. This
But,
is
okay,
so weird.
This seems to be very similar to a game that came out years ago called Hell Yeah, and that was a game about a bunny who found himself in hell. Don't ask. But I'm gonna get it. Like this, there aren't many games that this game was shown where I'm like, I don't like the look of it. A lot of games looked really good, and this is no exception. I love good 2D side scrollers.
Yeah.
Don't know why, can't explain it, but that's why I love Shovel Knight so much. But it looks so stupidly fun.
Returnal is coming out in March, which is that trippy, weird, spooky break the cycle game for PlayStation.
Yeah, because we were only showing a cinematic trailer last time.
Yeah. So
Now,
that's
I'll be honest. Now that I've seen gameplay, I'm less interested.
it didn't. I mean, it was a weird game when we looked at the cinematic trailer. The gameplay hasn't sold me on it.
But the cinematic trailer looked more like a gritty horror game.
Mm.
This gameplay shows that it's creepy,
Yeah.
but it's very over the top, like high intense stuff. I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah.
But at least not for me. If people enjoy it, then great. No.
Evil West is making its debut. It's vampire hunting cowboys. Yeehaw!
Look, it looks good, right? Oh my god!
I don't know how to feel about some concepts, and this is just another one of those moments of like, all right, what can we? What did you think of Scarlet Nexus? Oh, I haven't got to that yet.
Yeah, we'll get to that point when we get there.
We're just going down a list. Yeah, we haven't got to that yet.
But yeah, I mean, some games they know how ridiculous they are, and I think this is one of those. I think it's going to be fun.
It was so bizarre. Capcom released a new trailer for Monster Hunter Rise with a demo coming out in January.
I didn't think I'd end up liking it, but it looks good. I'm going to be playing the demo. The demo's for a limited time until the game releases, I think.
Yeah.
Which is very weird to do. But I'm going to be playing the demo because it's on Switch, right? I think so. I might be wrong.
Yes, it is. It's a limited time demo that will include online play for those who have a Nintendo Switch Online membership. Yes.
Oh, sweet. Cool. Well, I'm going to be playing online that game. It does look good. And then, after that, Capcom showed, like, very similar to the SNES, NES collections, original, like, old school Capcom games for online Switch Online members.
Yeah.
Yes, I welcomed it. I love when companies do this.
Yeah.
Well, I love the Sega Mega Drive collection. I have that. Like, the SNES collection, NES collection were great. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
I love old games.
I love when they do compilation. Well, that's why, as much as people gave it a lot of shit, that's why I was so excited when they had put out the Mario games, because it's like, oh.
Yeah.
You know, because it's that retro vibe and that feeling of like going back to something from so long ago. It's like, Among Us is getting a new airship map, which we knew that. Where that was not a shock.
Show more of it, and okay, a couple of things I want to point out. The first thing, you can choose a spawn room out of 3.
Yep.
In this map, I like that.
I think it shakes it up a bit more.
There's definitely a bluff game you can play with. It's interesting to see how many people don't know what game it's from, and it just shows a generational thing, I think, because Back in the day, I grew up on flash games called the Henry Stickmin games, like Breaking the Bank, Stealing the Diamond, that kind of thing. And one of them games was called Infiltrating the Airship, which
Yep.
this airship is based on.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what game's talking about, it was released this year by Innersloth, the same people. The people made Henry Stickmin, the same people behind Among Us, which is why it works so well.
Yeah.
They released the Henry Stickmin collection on Steam. If
Yeah.
you haven't played it, honestly treat yourself because it's stupid humor, it's
Yeah.
funny humor, it's my humor, and it's great. And there's a shit ton of gaming references, so it's very very fun. It's like a pick your own adventure, but only one way is right. But the whole idea of the game is to find all the fails because they're just funny.
And
So, yeah.
they hinted, or they didn't really, and a Jeff Keighley mask.
Hmm?
For the Among Us character, apparently.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, apparently there was a hint of it in the thing, saying that there's a there's a Jeff Keighley mask coming. I'm
Look,
like,
right, if there is, I'm getting it.
become the Game Award, host yourself with a limited time Jeff Keighley mask in game, available tonight. So if you play Among Us, you need to go get a Jeff Keighley mask.
I'm loading it up on my phone right now. I'm loading it up on my phone right now to find out. Anyway, carry on.
Wow. Everyone needs Jeff Keighley in their life.
Shut you.
Bandai Namco showed off a new trailer for Scarlet Nexus, which is what Blitz was talking about.
I don't know. I can't remember much of this game.
So Scarlet Nexus has been one of the games that have been on our radar since reveal in May during the Game Awards. Bandai Namco. Okay, so set in a far distant future, Scarlet Nexus puts you in the shoes of psionic soldiers in an effort to battle a supernatural threat called Others. Players can experience the dual perspective story starring Yuto Samuragai and Kaisen Randall and new recruits in the so it's a. That's
the third person over the shoulder game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I got Gears of War vibes from that.
It's very. I like the look of it. I don't know. It's not my kind of game, but I like the look of it. You know, it's coming out. When did they say it's coming out? Summer 2021.
Yeah.
It's coming to every platform except Switch.
Rip. I need to see more of the game before I think about whether or not I'm going to pick it. Because Gears of War, I'm referencing to Gears of War so much, it's probably like
It's probably,
unfair to do.
I was going to say it's probably not even close to that, but I know what
I
you
know,
mean.
but like I'm thinking of like that kind of camera and play style.
Yeah.
Like you've got like the sprinting, you've got the cover-based gameplay, you've got over the shoulder gameplay, and the weapons look similar in fire style as well. And Gears of War had a limited lifetime for me. I enjoyed it for a while and then just got bored of it really quickly. I hope Scarlet Nexus is not that game for me, but I need to see more of it before I think about buying it because so far it hasn't really gripped me.
Elite Dangerous Odyssey got new on-foot gameplay footage. I've never gotten into those games. Elite Dangerous
is a really fun game, but it takes a lot of dedication to get into it.
Oh, well, that's probably why I didn't get into it. Dedication is too... Well, no, I can't say that because I play games that require far too much. I shiny hunt, and that requires dedication.
You play Animal Crossing.
I do play Animal Crossing, and I grind in Destiny too. So you know, I'm a bit
Elite Dangerous is one of those games where you can do anything. You can do anything to make a reputation with different factions and do different kind of jobs depending on how you want to play. And it does it really well. It advertises itself as a multiplayer game, and it is, but you very rarely see people just because of how expansive the game is, the world is, because it truly is a whole entire galaxy.
Yeah.
But it genuinely is a game where if you're into it, you can lose so much time in that game. I know I've played it. I've had many times where I've played it in an evening, and then I came off the game, went to bed, so the sun was coming up.
Oh, jeez, okay.
It is a good game. I haven't played it in a long time. With this new stuff coming, I might play it again. It could be a fun game.
Sega's turn-based strategy game Humankind gets an April release date. I'm intrigued.
I don't remember that.
It's a turn-based historical strategy game. It's Spread across, it includes 40 cultures spread across 4 full gameplay eras, starting with the Neolithic era.
Oh, I do
152.
remember this.
Yeah, each culture features unique gameplay attributes, giving you a taste of a wide range of playstyles available in humankind. You can conduct battle land or sea and attempt to forge diplomatic relationships with 7 AI opponents.
I got Civilization vibe from this, and that's in a good way.
It's similar. It's got some very similar characteristics to it.
And I enjoy Civilization. So hopefully, if that game does it well, I'll be interested in picking it up. Not going to be the first game I pick up out of this list, but it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be a fun game to play. Spend some hours and time.
Outriders got a new trailer, teaches you how to survive.
I'll pass.
Yeah, it didn't resonate with me, but you know.
Nah.
Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection was announced. Ghosts and Goblins is an interesting game. Series.
I also can't remember this one.
Yeah, it's Blast from the Past, the Way Past. The Ghosts and Goblins was one of those ancient greats you had coming back from. Okay, it was a battle against all kinds of horrible undead opponents and monsters, and now the franchise is coming back. Injected with very familiar aspects of ghosts and goblins, ghouls and ghosts, and ready for ghosts and so take on zombies, skeletons, pigmen, and other iconic opponents in your quest. Yeah, it's like a.
The original game came out in '85, right?
Oh, it came out. It's old school. Like it's super old school.
I love my old school games. Another game I'm gonna play at some point. Not gonna rush, but it looks fun. That's the games of that period and that era were released just for people to have fun. It's one of those games where you buy it and you got the game. You don't have to pay for anything else on top.
Yeah.
And that's kind of lost nowadays because everything's DLC based now. Destiny. But I'm intrigued. I love old school games like that. I'm an old school game person when it comes to a lot of games, apparently. But yeah, it looks fun. It looks good.
Elder Scrolls Online is going to Oblivion.
Yes.
That's a big thing. That's a huge thing.
I have not played the Elder Scrolls Online in a long time, but I know people that are excited for it.
Yeah.
And knowing the Elder Scrolls a bit like I do, I know it's going to be very intense of an expansion. Because going to Oblivion is going to be a wild ride for many people.
So that's something that I'm sure tons of people will be excited to see.
Yes.
The League of Legends spin-off Ruined King has its gameplay debut.
So, League of Legends Ruined King basically looks to be just League of Legends. I checked it, and it's basically a mobile experience as well now. It's basically a way to play League of Legends on mobile.
Well, it's a spin-off of the series, so it's still part of the League of Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it on the App Store earlier. I was all downloading. I'm sure I'm going to at some point. It does look good.
Yeah.
But it's League of Legends. Like, the fact that I haven't veered too far away from it is a good thing in my opinion, because League of Legends is popular for a reason. You know what I mean? And to be able to have that experience on mobile now, I'm surprised I haven't done it sooner, honestly. But yeah, people won't be oblivious about. Oh, Jesus.
This next one is. I'm tempted to. I don't play this game. I haven't played it in a very long time, but I'm tempted to go and see what they've done with this.
I'm very confused.
So Fortnite is getting. Yeah, Fortnite. Yep, Fortnite, guys. I'm talking about Fortnite. Fortnite's getting a new skin, which just happens to be the Master Chief from the Halo series.
I've got a list of like a recap of things that happened in the Game War, and for this it says Master Chief's next game isn't Halo, it's Fortnite.
The best thing about this as well is that it was announced via Red versus Blue. Did you see that?
Yes, I love that so much.
It was so brilliant. So they got the Red versus Blue characters. So Jeff Ramsey and Matt Hullum did a recording thing for it. They literally got them to revise their characters, did the Red versus Blue bit, and then Ninja got involved in it, like his ninja skin, and it's this whole thing. And then they also reveal, this is the other bit I love about it, they also reveal that we're getting a new map. They're putting Blood Gulch into Fortnite. So like you can go to Blood Gulch in Fortnite.
I saw a
I
gif. I saw a
got out
gif
of
on
Fort.
Twitter,
Yeah.
earlier of the Master Chief character driving a Warthog, but it's a very small Warthog vehicle.
Oh, okay.
It's the funniest thing.
Oh god. I don't play Fortnite. I haven't played
Neither do I.
Fortnite for a very, very, very long time. I used
Same.
to play it like when it was in its early days, just for fun mostly. I
I
did stream it
played
a few
it.
times.
I played it last year, I think.
Um, I'm tempted to go back into this just for my love of Halo and to just see how ridiculous this looks. I'm curious to see Blood Gulch in like Fortnite graphics. Like, I'm so curious. Um, I
It looks
love
so
the
weird.
fact that Rooster Teeth got involved and did a RVB thing because that's just such an iconic, like, brilliant thing. Because they even joked at the fact that, like, even though RVB is still hugely popular, they said a ninja, oh, it's something you would have watched like 10 years ago. Like, so it's like self-deprecating humor. It's like, I love
I
it.
might go back and watch RVB now because of that, because I forgot how funny it was.
Oh, it was so brilliantly done. And so, yeah. Oh, God, they're early. That's our dinner. They're not meant to be here yet.
Oh,
That's fine. But yeah,
eat on
like,
stream.
what's that?
Eat on stream.
Oh no. It's a juicy burger. Just go.
Oh yeah, eat on stream definitely then.
But yeah, I was so excited by this, even though I don't really play Fortnite. I'm like, this is just so out there that I may check that out. I don't
It
know
was
yet.
so stupid, but in the best way.
Yeah, like, and I love the bit like you've got a Master Chief cut out there. Like, it's just it's so much that humor that's like.
Oh, I might watch that clip again after this
But
AuraCast.
there are Fortnite's become Smash. There's so many skins. Like they dropped the Joker skin recently. I'm like,
Did they really?
yeah, you can get it. There's a Joker skin.
Wow.
Yeah, there's that. And then the last thing on my list is they gave us a glimpse at the next Mass Effect.
I got so excited.
Now I'm kind of like optimistic, but also very nervous because obviously Andromeda was a bit of a
Andromeda wasn't great.
Andromeda was a bit of a mess, and so
But you know
I
what? I have faith in BioWare that they've learned their lesson. I really do.
I hope so. I really hope so because
Because Mass Effect 3 is still one of my favourite games.
Andromeda looked good to start with, and then once it released, it was an absolute shit show.
Okay, here's the part I'm hopeful for. The main part about Mass Effect 3 that I loved, apart from the reputation system in the story and how fun it was, the multiplayer.
Hmm.
It was a very unique multiplayer mode in a game at that time, and Mass Effect 3 nailed it. There was nothing wrong with multiplayer in that game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I hope they do something. I hope they don't mess with what worked in Mass Effect 3 in multiplayer wise. I hope it sticks to a co-op thing. I don't want them to do like a versus thing. I don't think it'll work.
No.
I wanted to stick to a wave-based co-op multiplayer in the new Mass Effect because that worked so well. Like leveling up different characters depending on who you like to play, mastering them, getting new stuff for them, leveling up again. It was just such a unique, fun way of doing multiplayer, and I hope they stick with it.
Yeah. So I'm optimistic in the fact that hopefully they've learnt their lesson from Andromeda, but we'll see.
Yes. Come on, BioWare, don't mess.
That's all I've got on my list. That pretty much covers it. There was lots of little things, but this was the bulk of the most important stuff. I'm just going to do my quick ad read, and then I've got one last thing that we're just going to touch upon that I have had a request or two from people to talk about, and I refuse.
I know what it's about. Yeah.
I refuse to talk about on my stream. But I think it's appropriate in this forum. But let's talk about Juju first. So Juju is proudly partnered with the Aura Guardians. They are a wonderful energy drink company. They make a variety of flavors. I'm winging this because I didn't open my thing. I drink it. I've been drinking it during the AuraCast. Comes in a variety of flavors. They also sell the shakers and everything to go with it. They've now got merch, stickers, all sorts of crazy stuff. But there's some amazing flavors. It contains a lot of vitamins and minerals to help with your overall health. Also contains a thing called Ludamax, which is good for your eyes, especially if you spend a lot of time looking at a computer. It helps with eye strain and that blue light that a lot of computers emit. It's very low calorie. If you are on specific diets like keto and that, it actually will be fine to have with that diet. Danny's just waving our dinner in the background. Burger. Why you give it? Oh my god! I'm in the middle of my ad read.
Eat it on screen.
So a brilliant drink. I enjoy it. It does help with my energy levels when I do have it. And like I said, my favorite flavor is blue raspberry, but last time I couldn't get it because it was out of stock. That shows how popular it is. There is a new flavor that's been out for about a month or so called horchata, which is a Mexican milk drink flavor. It's got a bit of a cinnamon flavor to it. So I want to try that at some stage. But if you want to check it out, you can go to jujuenergy.com and use the code AGFAM. You get 10% discount. And we also get a bit of a commission from that as well, which will help the team out with some expenses and things. So yeah, make sure you check that out. So controversy time. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's a situation or a scenario that has had a very weird impact on a lot of people. As we all know, a game that has been well anticipated has finally come out, and that is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, not to discredit what the game looks like, and some of the mechanics behind it and that I think are incredible, but on a moral level, I have some issues with it, and I'm not the only one. There's a few people who are. If you enjoy the game, I'm fine. I've had people like asking me, stream. I've got no interest in playing this game. I have
so many people on social media enjoying the game, and that's great.
There's a few issues with it. Let me address the first one that really was just for me was like I think in this day and age should be absolutely considered is the fact that this game had some very serious triggers in regard to epilepsy and seizures.
Yes.
And not in a way that they could have not realized that they were doing it. It was actually a lot of the methodology behind what causes the seizures. Seizures is what medical people use to induce seizures for testing and that.
Yes.
And so that's where my issue is. But the big issue is the fact that there was no warning. There was no warning given at the start of the game. There was no warning on release. There was no warning about any of that. And the fact that this was highly triggering.
Yes.
It wasn't even a remote chance. This was highly triggering. The percentage of people who could get triggered by this is astronomical.
Yeah.
It has taken, and to their credit, they've at least somewhat addressed it. It has taken a massive social media backlash for them to at least put a warning at the start of the game, which they've now patched in to warn people that this game could potentially trigger seizures.
They should have done it from the beginning anyway. This
is not out of the normal. This is something that should be priority number one when you're assessing your game and putting it out. I don't know how it also got through ratings warnings and that without having a warning on there saying that it can trigger seizures, because this is on the list of things that should be assessed.
It has affected reviewers that have played it post-release. It has affected people that are excited for the game that are sensitive to epileptic seizures, prone. Sorry, It's just even those that aren't prone to it. Like people have noticed. It's an obvious thing. I don't understand how they haven't thought we should probably put a warning on this.
Like there was no warning labels or anything on boxes as far as I'm aware.
Use of the lights that in such a way, like you mentioned, is used in the same way by professionals to induce seizures. So,
yeah, it's got similar patterns and ideology behind what they use to trigger seizures in testing these things on a medical level. And it's like, well, how can you put that in your game? You've probably done some research on this and then not put a warning label on it.
Yeah.
So that for starters. Okay. My second gripe with it is the amount of bugs that it has come out with.
Okay.
I understand games coming out with issues, but a lot of these, I'm sorry, but a lot of these issues are things that should have been detected at a pre-release level Especially on the console side of things. People are seeing significant frame drops, significant stuttering, significant freezing, significant
Crashing.
texture issues, weird shit appearing where it shouldn't, weird little trees appearing in little spots. Just lots of weird.
Random posing characters in places they shouldn't be.
Yeah, people phasing through walls, like
And here's the
just
thing, I don't know what the process was in development. It obviously was tough because they've delayed a few times. But the fact they've delayed a few times surely must warrant the fact that they've noticed that the game isn't as perfect as they want it to be. They've delayed it how many times now?
it's been delayed, so I don't know. I've lost count, and that's no exaggeration. It's been delayed so many times, and
Yeah.
even before COVID, it was delayed. So they
Yeah.
can't keep using COVID as an example of why this game has got bugs. And
I
even
am
on
confused.
PC, it's not optimized properly. I've seen video footage and evidence from streamers and people just playing the game who have high end rigs that can run
Yeah.
anything, struggling to run this game.
It's poorly optimized, it's poorly made, and for the amount of time it's been delayed, you would think, at least hope, try and wonder why they haven't patched any of these out. Like, again, understand, no game is released perfectly. If it is, it's been a godsend. But games can have bugs. But there's a difference between bugs and bugs that are game breaking and crash and freeze your game
I was going to
and
say,
make it run at like 12 FPS.
but even the bugs, right? Forget the bugs that are, some of this stuff isn't bugs. Like weird textures appearing in spots and
Yeah.
and characters
Weird
just
glitches.
phasing through walls are things that should be
Yeah.
detected at like a testing level. Some things can't be detected until it's out in the public. Little bugs will happen. Examples with, for example, I play a lot of Destiny, as we all know. That when they release the new stasis ability, once it's out in public in things like Crucible and that, they start finding there's issues because it's
Yeah.
out there in the. I understand that, but like texture issues and assets appearing where they shouldn't even have been, they're not bugs caused by gameplay. They're bugs that you've or just lazy development that has just
Mhm.
not been dealt with. You haven't
Another thing,
efficiently evaluated your product. You've just gone, yeah, it kind of looks good. Oh, there's a tree that shouldn't, or a whole heap of little trees that have a bit. That was the biggest one. There was like
yeah,
floating trees in front of a door or
and in a
whatever,
room up in the
and in a
ground.
room, and it's like, why are there trees here? Okay,
But they're
firstly,
so small.
but that's the other thing. They're not intentional, but why are they there? Because they just look
Yeah.
like a layer or an asset that was put in and then just never taken out.
I don't understand. Okay, so the game was also released on top of the consoles. It was released on the new gen. It was also released on Xbox One, X, and PlayStation 4.
Hmm.
The optimization for those consoles is some of the worst I've ever seen for a game. My argument: if you're going to release a game, release it on. Well, it needs to be optimized first of all, but on systems that can run the game. Don't release it for a console if it's not going to run the game as intended. Ignore the fact that there's bugs and glitches and all that shit, which is inexcusable how much Cyberpunk actually has. And even with the epilepsy thing as well, Xbox One X and PlayStation 4, because of the optimization issues, probably even without them, struggle to run the game. And they shouldn't have been released for those consoles, period, in my opinion. I get
Yeah.
that Xbox One X and PS4 still has a lifespan. They're still going to be played. I still have my Xbox One S, for God's sake. And that I brush off the dust on that every now and then. But, like, it's not. I'm speaking from a gamer's standpoint. I'm not a game developer. It can't be too difficult to know what platform you want to release a game on and optimize for that platform. That's why I get really miffed when a game has optimization issues, because if you're making a game for a platform, it needs to be playable on that platform.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
why, even on PS5 and Xbox Series X, yes, I did new, but even before they were released, developers have been ready to release a game on the console on launch day because they've known what they're working with. Even after the console's been released, they've been out for like what, 2 months now, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
For Cyberpunk to then be released, be delayed over and over again, they've had a lot of time to know working hardware and software wise, for it to then be so poorly optimized and so poorly ran. Again, I get when a game has bugs, but that's just inexcusable. That that's not how it should have been released. And yeah, you would have pissed a lot of people off, but delay it again. Delay it as long as needed. Don't crunch down trying to release a game, release it in the shit that it's in, and expect people to want to play it. It's no.
Yeah,
And even to the point of not putting in an epilepsy warning. That's such a simple thing to do.
it's awful. It's just
The optimization is poor and it's inexcusable. It's how bad it is. 12
Now,
FPS on PS4 and Xbox One.
the other thing, and this is the last thing I want to talk about, is there are severe concerns about the nature of some of the. Okay, so the fact that you can create male characters with female parts and vice versa, that's not an issue. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's fantastic. It gives diversity and everything else. But there's a problem with that, and that's the exploitation of that. There's also a specific ad in the game, like it's a made ad for the game, like it's not an ad for a product.
I feel like I feel like about trigger warning for yeah.
To me, it's Project CD. What is it? What are they called again?
CD Project Red.
CD Project Red have had a history of issues with this topic, and unfortunately, it has also somewhat spewed into this game. In the artist is trying to justify it as what was the exact words here? The artist is trying to justify it as a reflection of a dystopian state of a world.
Yes.
But to me, it's just the concern is that it's reeking of fetishism as opposed to trying to represent something in this game, if that makes sense. And the art is very obviously a trans character being used in the advertisement, presenting as female, but with a penis. And instead of just being sort of like, it's obviously exaggerated, and that's the issue here. It's not been handled well. And a lot of, I was just about to get to that, and a lot of they were promoting it as like, you can be very free with your character and how you design it. It's actually not as free as they were originally promoting.
Yeah.
It has some limitations from what I hear. And I believe voices is one of them, is an issue, is that you can pick a male character. Hang on, let me rephrase that. You can make your character present as, say, the opposite gender, but you can't change the voice, for example, if you wanted to. Which is like, well, that's not really kind of fitting you being open with the whole transgender thing. It's kind of like, okay, you can slap a penis on this character or a vagina, and then, okay, that's good enough. And it's like, well, no.
Yeah.
If you're going to be open about how you want people to be able to present their characters exactly how they want to, and make it like, you know, you can be this free with how you design, you actually haven't. You've almost given trolls a chance to just make hideous creations and mock transgender people, and that's what makes me really angry about how they've handled this. And then to come out and go like, no, it's just representing a dystopian world. It's like, well, no, you're still kind of just throwing transgender people under the bus to some degree with how you've done this. Like, it's not quite hitting the mark.
It's CD Projekt Red, how they've handled has been very poor. I want to address a comment that was made in chat just now by Pineapple. To say to release it on PC first, then later on, without even on PC, it's not properly optimized.
Yeah, this game was not ready to launch.
No, this game was not ready. The way they've approached things is wrong. The way they've advertised things is wrong. The way they've responded to things, some of it is okay, but it's way too slow. Even they should have known in the first place. The things they've implemented since the game, they should have known. If they were to stick with their guns, they should have known it would have caused issues. And I get an art form. I get it's an art form, and pushing certain things forward, that's fine. But like, there's ways of doing it tastefully, and CD Projekt Red have not done that.
No.
And it's this game was hyped up to be this amazing game that as advertised, and it just isn't. It just
it
isn't that
hasn't
game.
it hasn't hit the mark in the everything they claimed they were going to do. They haven't quite nailed it.
Yeah,
It lacks polish. It lacks finalization. It is overhyped and under delivering for a lot of things. And some people look, if you're enjoying the game, that's fine. This is just my opinion. But no, and the transgender issue is something that in this day and age, I mean, at any stage in it should not be an issue, but in this day and age where acceptance and promoting positivity about different people and how they live their lives is something that's so important.
yeah,
And Aura Guardians pride themselves on inclusivity. A lot of our members of our stream team and community are LGBT, and
like
that's hi, hi, you know, and that's so important to us as a stream team. So this is very strongly resonating with a number of people on the team and in the community, and it was something I wanted to address as not acceptable from my perspective. I mean, there are some people in the transgender community who were sort of like, it doesn't affect me, but there are some people who it has, and
yeah,
and that, I guess, that
that
just
can't be ignored.
no. So hopefully, I would like to see that they learn something from this, but given their history, they
We're doubtful.
haven't. Yeah. But it was something I wanted to address. I got hounded a number of times on my streams about talking about this game, and I was just like, I just don't want to. And I finally was like, look, if you want me to talk about it and give my personal views on why I have issues with this game, I think that the AuraCast is probably the best forum for that.
Yeah,
Because it is a bit more of a serious environment. Well, okay, we won't use the word serious, but we have our serious discussions amongst the stupidity,
yeah.
and it's something that I think had to be addressed. So
But
yeah,
one thing we want to put out as well, like we say this every now and then, but especially with topics like this, we'd love to know what you think. So like that's why we stream this so we can see people's reactions and what they think live as we do it. We have the like comment section on YouTube and everything. We
yeah.
have, I'm sure, a few different services. I'm not too well versed in them, but I'm sure some of them have like
Oh,
review
absolutely.
pages and comment sections.
Yeah,
So like if feel free to get involved and share your opinions with things, like regardless of what your opinion is, because I know a few people on Twitter and everything, even people that I speak to every now and then, who are enjoying the game, and that's perfectly fine. Like from a gameplay standpoint, if you're enjoying the game, because some people, purely on the bug side, aren't getting anywhere near as many as other people are. While
yeah,
that's unfortunate, some people are still able to play the game. A lot of people are, and if you're enjoying it, that's perfectly fine. There are things in the game, as we've just discussed, where some people will not want to or not interested anymore to play the game because of these reasons, and I feel like that's something that should also be respected as well. It's not going to be a um, it's never going to be a, oh, it's not as bad as you think.
yeah,
It's the worst thing in the world. It's not either side. It's a discussion at the end of the day, and if you enjoy the game and you don't see a problem with playing it and you want to play it, or even if you do see a problem with it, but as a game you enjoy it, go nuts, enjoy it. Like, feel free to stream it, feel free to do videos, do your own. Me personally, I mean, I was interested in it anyway, but especially now, I'm definitely not going to rush to play it, or if at all. I know that B says not going to stream it either, but there's no bad blood to people that do,
yeah.
because
And if
everyone,
even people on our stream team, like if people want to stream it,
yeah,
I'm not opposed to that. Like my final thought on all of this before we wrap up, is that in regards to anyone's opinion, I have no problem with people having opinions, obviously. I think that that's what makes the world go round. I think that everyone
yeah.
is entitled to having their own thoughts and feelings and about anything.
If
The
everyone agreed on
most
the same thing, it'll be boring.
the most important thing is that it's done in a respectful way, and that it's done in a way that you can have a friendly, healthy discussion without it being a slinging match or a nasty, awful experience where people walk away feeling just like crap. If you can have a
Yeah,
friendly discussion with a difference of opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. But the moment it turns into a slinging match and treating people disrespectfully, then I have no tolerance for that, and
yeah.
it's not welcome, if that makes sense. So
we push for open discussion here on AuraCast and in Aura in general. So that's why, again, look to see people's opinions. And I'm always happy to have an open discussion, a mature discussion about anything, opinion-wise, even if I share an opposite opinion. Because it's fun and interesting to know where other people stand on these sides of things. And if you have to have a mature discussion, then it makes it makes it a lot more interesting having a discussion with someone who doesn't have the patience.
exactly.
But yeah, just it's play the game if you want to. It's not going to impact us, but yeah, I think that's a good way of
That's a good point to wrap up, I
wrapping
guess.
that up.
So, as always, if you have missed parts of the AuraCast or missed previous episodes, or if you miss future episodes, there's more than one way you can view this. Obviously, we broadcast live basically every week, unless there's
Yeah.
a reason not to, at 6 p.m. CET, which is 5 p.m. British Standard Time, Summertime, Standard Time.
GMT at the moment, yeah.
GMT. I don't know. You've got lots of different time zones
Yeah, we
throughout
have
the
2
year.
different time zones depending on if
But the same
quick
time
or
every
not.
week, so this time's roughly. We also put the archived videos up onto YouTube, which you can find as well, and it is available in an audio format on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. If you want to support the AuraCast or the team, you can actually subscribe to this channel. We do have a wonderful little AG fam emote, and we also have a hype emote. We actually do have two emotes, and all that money goes back into being able to do some amazing things for our stream team and community. On top of all that, you can follow AG on Twitter. You can also follow myself and Cinder on Twitter. We both are streamers as well. And there's the emotes in the chat as Matthias is showing off.
A little note on that. Me personally, I will not be till probably the start of next year.
Yeah.
I went on a hiatus type of thing near the start of November, and I'm just extending it until 2021. I'm just gonna have a chill time, enjoy my Christmas here because people know this is not where I normally live. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my Christmas, gonna have a great time, and I'll be back at the start of next year. So yeah.
You will see Cinder on the AuraCast, though. He will be on the AuraCast
Yes,
unless
every
something
week.
happens, of course, or I get
Yeah.
sick of him and yeet him out the front door.
Yeah, or
Um,
unless Cinder out does come into fruition, in which case it's been fun.
So other than that, I guess that's about it. If you want to join the Discord, you can also join the AG Discord. Everyone's welcome there. And we are going to be working on a whole heap of stuff for 2021. So the AuraCast will continue to go on through the holiday season unless it falls on Christmas or a New Year, which I actually haven't looked. I'm going to have a quick look now. The 26th probably won't happen. We'll probably skip that one.
Yeah.
That's a little tricky. I don't know if that's going to be a good thing. So next week will be the last one before the Christmas break, and then we should be back on the 2nd of January, all things prevailing, obviously.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week. We'll probably be talking about a whole heap of random shit next week because the Game Awards has been
It's over. Thank Christ.
it's been wrapped up. But most importantly, be safe wherever you are in the world. The world has been a very rough place for 2020 at this point. We've only got a few more weeks of this year, and hopefully 2021 will start doing a little bit of an upslide because I think people need it.
Yeah.
So anyway, this has been DragonBeaz.
Cinder, bring back Generation 4
Oh,
remakes.
for fuck's sakes, let it go. Oh my god, let it go.
I do it every week.
I was going to say, oh god, it's going to be a never-ending story. But yeah, we'll see you next week. All right, bye guys. Take care.